Okay, so here's a really good exercise to build strength in the adductors. If you struggle building strength or struggle with hip internal rotation, if your hips generally fall out to the side, in order to build hip internal rotation, you want strong adductors because they're some of the muscles that help pull that hip inwards. We can work on the hip rotation, internal rotation movement itself, but we want to build strength in the muscles that help with that internal rotation. So you're going to need a towel, rolled up towel. So you're going to lay on your side with your knees pretty much 90 degrees. You're going to place the towel in between your knees. Okay, and then initially we're just going to take this top leg, roll it forward, so top knee in front of bottom knee, and then pull it back behind the knee. And we want to make sure this movement is coming from the hip, and we're not arching our back and trying to force it through with our back and then rounding our back as we come the other way. So it's purely coming from the hip. So just get used to initially that knee gliding forwards and back. So we're basically getting that hip to shift nicely. So now, once you've got the hang of that, you're going to do 5 reps. So forwards, back is 1, 2, 3, 4, and on the 5th rep, once you've pulled it back, I want you to squeeze the towel hard as you can, but keep trying to pull back. It won't go any further, but the focus now is squeezing. Okay, so keep it pulled back and squeeze, keep it pulled back and squeeze, squeeze harder, squeeze harder, squeeze harder. You're going to squeeze that for about 10 seconds, and you should feel this deep in the hip adductor and the groin there. Then release that and go back into 5 rolls. And then again on the 5th rep, once you've got that pulled back, squeeze the towel, squeeze it hard. So if anyone tried to grab it and pull it, they wouldn't be able to. So crush the towel, but don't let that knee drift forwards. Keep it pulled back as we squeeze. It's that combination of pull back and squeeze that's going to get you to feel it deep in there. Okay, so the idea, I'm feeling that deep in the adductors, I always get that confused, with that squeeze. But make sure that that knee stays behind, the top knee stays behind the bottom knee. When you're squeezing, it's very easy to let that knee just drift forwards again. Keep it pulled back as you squeeze hard into the towel, and try and crush that towel as hard as you can. Do that about 3 times on each leg. So 5, pull back and forth, squeeze for 10 seconds, 5, squeeze for 10 seconds, 5, squeeze for 10 seconds. Then flip over and do the other leg. And notice when you do that, does one leg tire quicker than the other? Do you have slightly less range of motion? Just so you get an idea of how much weaker or stiffer or tighter one side might be than the other, and just focus on that a little bit more. But I really like this to get the adductors working hard as well as getting the hips shifting nicely. The combination of the two together could really help with your hips' ability to internally rotate. And when you're doing movements like squats or hinges or deadlifts or jumping or running or throwing, you can access that movement, which is going to allow for a better quality movement.